Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Get Happy podcast with your guest, moi, Rudrani Devi. And today I am so very excited to have one of my favorite people on as a guest, Miss Laleh Hancock. Hi, and thank you for joining us today.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fabulous. I've just loved being able to connect with you. It's been so long. I think it was Australia in December of 2019. Is that possible?
Nope, it was February in Brazil.
That's right. It was February in Brazil. How did I ever forget about us jumping tracks in February?
I think the jumping track helped the loss of the memories.
I'm telling you, the true story, y'all. I don't know when you're actually going to be listening to this podcast, but we're talking actually on the day of the U.S. election, which is the 4th of November, 2020. And so we've been in lockdown for quite a long time. So I have missed this gal so much. And I can't wait to hug your juicy body again the next time we can actually get together. So
I look forward to it.
So could you tell the listeners a little bit about just who you are, a little introduction?
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because I've had such a mix of a background. I started my life thinking I was going to be a doctor. I loved kids and wanted to be a pediatrician to make them all be happy and healthy. And then studying medicine, I realized at some point that my idea of medicine and really helping people didn't match that of America. It really was the, let me give you a prescription, come back tomorrow if you have a problem kind of medicine at that time. And I shifted my life there was an earthquake, there was a marriage, there was all sorts of little dynamic things that happen in life. And I decided to take 1 year off and not go to medical school. And then the journey went from there, as you can imagine, having twins, all sorts of things that life takes you to. But the one thing that I always loved, in addition to wellness and helping people to be happy, really was business, growing businesses. And that's the path that I took. And in the last 32 years, been working with a lot of different kinds of businesses and being an entrepreneur, starting different businesses for myself. So now I get to be also an Access certified facilitator, and I get to share some amazing tools in business with your body, relationship, money, creation of, a new life, having more wellness. Like, I get to share all the things that I always wanted as a doctor, but I get to do it in a different way.
Oh, I love every word that came out of your mouth.
You're so good for my ego here.
I mean, you went with your knowing is the point. You stepped into something that you had thought was going to create what you would like to create for the world. And then you were like, hey, you know what? This isn't working for me. And just organically, you found your way into creating it in the manner that not only would make you happy, but would be a contribution to others and perhaps contribute to their happiness as well. So here's one thing, listeners, that I know about Laleh. She, and I recently learned this actually, is she never had a problem with really being happy. She started out happy. So could you give us a little bit about that journey?
Yeah. It's interesting. When I was 7, there was a revolution in Iran. And within 24 hours, my dad shipped me, my mom, and my 2 sisters to France. And because he knew they were about to come get him and he wanted us to be safe. And I remember landing in France, not really knowing what was going on, because we left at 5 a.m, saying goodbye to family and not really knowing what was going on. But I was like, I can be here with my mom and 2 sisters. I can go to school and come home every day. And I also can get to know everyone, because I don't know when I'm leaving again. I had these 2 choices, and it sounds really crazy. Like, I talk about it these days now, but that's exactly what was going through my head. And I was like, no, I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to get to know as many friends as possible. And that's kind of been my journey in life. I love traveling. I love getting to know new people, new cultures, and new tools. I was always looking for new tools. What are different ways I can have self development, expand my own horizon, and then have a toolbox to be able to share with other people. And that's the journey that actually brought me also to Access, because I learned a lot of different tools along the way. But then I learned this magical tool, Access Bars. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I want to tell the whole world about
That
it.
was me. I remember trying to uh, describe what it was like. And it's one of these things that's kind of hard to describe. You really have to go and experience it yourself. And even then you try to talk about it. And so I just tell people, you know what, just go get your bars run. The worst thing that can happen is you feel like you had a great massage with your clothes on. And if you don't like it, you don't have to do it anymore. But continuez, s'il vous plaît. I just threw a little French in there for you.
Oh, merci, madame. It's so funny though, because like the bars was that starting point, but that's what I knew. I knew that there was something different here than any other tool and technique. And to be honest, I was an executive when I found Access, and I had started my own company, and I dealt with lots of different kinds of people in not-for-profit and the corporate world. And so for me, it was like, I already have a job. I already have a career. I already have a business. It's not like I needed something for that.
Mhm.
But there was this magic. And like you said, I already had joy, but it's almost like my joy changed. How I used to even handle stressful situations altered. People who were difficult didn't bother me the same way anymore. So I realized like there's something magical here, that like the more I get to have this thing magically done on my head, just someone touches my head and
Right.
then my whole world changes. So yeah, happiness is.
Just one thing, if this is the first time you've heard about Access Bars and you haven't heard any of the other podcasts where we've been talking about it a lot, it's 32 points on your head in different groupings that it's kind of like a delete button for all your thoughts, feelings, and emotions and considerations that don't really, aren't really a part of who you be. So it's an opportunity to actually discharge these things. And so you just feel lighter after a session. And the cool part is, even if you're running bars on someone else, um, they get a benefit. But if you share some of the same thoughts, feelings, emotions, and considerations, then you also hit a delete button for yourself. So you're gifting and receiving at the same time. It's so cool. Anyway, I just wanted to
Yeah.
interject
Like
that.
the founder says, it's like defragging your computer, so you stop running on empty and slow, and you actually maximize your creativity and your joy and happiness and health and wellness, and it's all kind of combined.
Right? Why would you not want that? So, so that's how it started for you. And so what did you notice started changing?
Well, like when I found Access, it was really interesting because everything was working in my life. I had remarried, my kids were amazing athletes, were doing really well in school. But we all had a lot of stress. Like my businesses were very successful. Peter, his business was very successful. And the one thing we had all was a lot of stress. And I realized with the tools and with the bars, and then there's so many other things, there's joy business tool, there's just so many other tools that come along with it, our stress changed. Like how we would handle it. Like for example, I would run bars before the girls had a track meet, or they had an exam at school, or for the SATs, or preparation for college. And I realized like it didn't just change for them, but I would also help their friends. Like it became this like domino effect of bringing joy and more relaxation, and no longer allowing stress to rule our lives.
Wow. See, a lot of people don't even know they can choose that.
Yeah.
It's like, this is my life, my lot in life. I have to get married and be the perfect wife and have the perfect children. the lovely house, picket fence, 1.5, 2.5 cars, whatever that means, all the stuff that in this reality, that's what we think is going to bring us joy, and is it really authentic joy? We don't even know that we can actually create more. So I'm very curious then, if you already had this great business, the great kids, all of this is going on in your life. In other words, you already had a job. What
Mhm.
made you leap into access, and how was that journey? Did you just kind of find yourself there one day, or tell
Well,
me
what was
about that?
interesting is I was always a curious person. And every weekend, I was reading a new book, or I was going to a new conference or a new training, or, there was always something that I was always seeking for more, and, some of it could have been called, grow your business. Some of it could have been like, law of attraction, or like, the things related to the body. So like I just had this universal curiosity, and I went to a training called Quantum Touch. And about 15 minutes, I was able to touch someone's knee, and someone who hadn't walked up the stairs in 6 years. She couldn't even walk her dogs because she couldn't go up the stairs. She could walk after 15 minutes of working on her.
Wow.
And it was like a miracle, but it's this magic that we all have if we're willing to actually utilize, our capacities.
Mhm.
And so after that class, I did a special workshop. And in that workshop, she attended, and then we worked on some of the things that were going on in her life. And then so for my birthday, she called me and she said, Laleh, can I come gift you something for your birthday? And I was like, okay. Like, I didn't even have to think, what is it? Or I was like, yes. And she said, I learned this thing called the bars, and I would love to share it with you. And she sent me the website. And back then it was a different website. And I didn't even understand the website. Like, there was things that didn't work on the website very well. The new one's amazing. But like, I just was like, just come. I don't need to know what you're going to do. It feels good, And I just knew. And
There again, she's trusting her knowing, people. If it feels
yeah,
right, it's right.
yeah. But you know what? That's how I used to always function in life. For me, I was a very different kind of parent. I divorced when the girls were less than 2. And I used to have conversations with my 2-year-olds. People had tantrums, their kids freaking out. My kids freaked out twice. And I was like, we're not having this kind of life. We are going to have conversation. And even though you're in a little body, you know what I'm talking about. So, I was the
Wow.
different, I was the different parent. And I realized that when I actually had conversation with my kids and said, okay, guys, this is what we need to do today. And yes, we're going to have fun and play. We didn't have problems. Like, my kids were amazing. We could go run our errands, and then we'd come and play and do the other things. So I realized, like, most of us take for granted that we can have a different kind of relationship with our children, with our business, and
Mhm.
with our knowing. For me, it was always about my gut instinct. If my gut instinct said no, I was like, not doing it. But if my gut instinct said yes, yes, I was doing it. And now I know that was my awareness of knowing, like, yeah, don't go down the street, or yeah, go down the street. It just was my natural knowing. So access for me has kept me on my toes of always being curious. A new tool that I can use in business, a new tool with children, or new tool with animals. Like, I have such broad, I don't know, interest in life. And so there's a thing about conscious parents, conscious kids. There's a thing about joy of business. There's the wealth management. Like, there's all these different ways and avenues you can go and access that nurtured my curiosity and keeps nurturing my curiosity. So I keep adding more.
I love that. So all this stemmed from this birthday present.
Yes, the best present I have ever received.
Thus
Or
far.
so far, so far, so far, so far.
Did you know that you needed to learn this modality once it was run on you? What was the next steps after that?
Oh my God, honey, I'm telling you, she put one hand on my head. We hadn't even started with anything other than the power band and the third eye energy ball. And I
Mhm.
was like, I don't know what this is, but I have to tell the whole world about it. And then the next step was for me to schedule a private training for me, my two kids, and my mom. And do you know, our first date was when Storm Sandy hit.
Oh my goddess, that was a while ago. What year was that?
That was in 2012.
Oh my goodness, that's when I leaped into Access. I knew
Yeah.
about it from 2003, but it wasn't until 2012 that I took my first bars class and became a bars facilitator.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we had to cancel because the trees in the neighborhood had come down and there was all sorts of things going on, with that crazy storm. And we rescheduled for 2 weeks later. Like I knew there was something inside me that knew I have to learn this, and even if it didn't make it that day, I knew we had to reschedule. And you want to laugh. When she called me for my birthday, we had just sold my house in less than 24 hours. We had bought a new house. My business was booming. The girls had gone into championship. Peter got a promotion. Like, this is the moment where I found this magic birthday present. Like, truly, when they say like every most stressful thing in the world that can happen to you, buying a house, selling a house, whatever, like all those things were happening at once. And there was this magic. Hi,
Like,
can I
yeah,
come
come over.
over and gift you something?
You're one bold lady. I gotta say, 'cause I'd be like, I just need to take a nap for a week and then maybe we can schedule this.
No, I'm kind of crazy and I take it all at once, having twins and now adopting 3 dogs. No, I've just realized I just don't do simple.
All baby dogs, like puppies?
Well, two of them one just turned 1 and the other's probably 7 or 8 months old now. Yeah. And the other one is 11 years old.
Yeah, you're bold and brave
And crazy.
and crazy. You are definitely crazy, crazy pants. Gary called me crazy yesterday. I was on Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness. I got to interview him yesterday, and he goes, "Yeah, you're batshit crazy. Nobody can control you." And I went, "Yeah, you're right. That's kind of cool." So, wow. So in the middle of all of that, you get your bars run, and you knew you had to learn this class. It gets moved, so you finally get to take it, and then what happens?
Well, after that, it was just more, I told you I had started my own business a couple years earlier and I was working with not-for-profits, corporates. I was doing a lot of consulting projects for my business management consulting company. And then I just started incorporating the tools. And then my second business got created with these tools. And, now I have a third and a fourth business with it too. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't define it as one item because it's not. You find more of you when you get your bars run. It's like that garbage of everything you bought that you are this or you are that, or you can't do this or you can do this. It erases. So then you get to choose, okay, today, what would I like to add to my life and living? What would I like the businesses to be like? And for me, businesses are just this amazing consciousness that wants to come alive with your energy. And so every day I get to ask the questions, hey, business, who or
Right.
what would you like to add to you today? And we go from there. So it really, all I can say is that it just kept moving, like a lot of times, like I had learned so many tools and techniques before Access. And after a few days or a few weeks or a few months, I was done. I was bored. I'd already accomplished everything. It was off to the next journey, With Access, it's never ending. And every day is a new adventure. There's a new tool we learn. There's new awareness.
Story. Oh my, it is like that. I keep thinking I've hit a plateau here, and then bam, within 30 minutes, another email comes in with something else that at the minute I look at it, my knowing says, yeah, girl, you got to do this. You got to do it. What will my life be like in 5 years if I choose this, which is a tool of access? And my whole world just expands, and I know, hey, and that's what brings me joy and happiness is the knowing. You already had this knowing, which is amazing. Did you find that it got exponentially more, or I don't know
Yeah.
how to say it?
Well, this is the thing. There's no destination and you got it and then you're done. It's like every day it's about the willingness to be in the question and keep expanding your life, expanding your awareness, expanding consciousness on the planet. And so for me, it has been this journey that no 2 day looks the same, you know, and some days are easier than other days, you know. I mean, like, this whole knowing thing also comes with our skyrocket awareness of what's going on in other people's worlds as well. And so, you know, there's some days that aren't easy, but luckily I have tools. You know, I can ask a question. I don't even get out of bed each morning until I do my little mantras of, you know, like talking to my body, talking to the earth, talking to the businesses, you know, and letting go of yesterday and actually allowing today to be created as a brand new day, like a white canvas that you get to paint today. So it really is the journey forward, and allowing the new energies in the world also to contribute to that forward movement.
I love how you put that. Well, I could talk to you all day. It's so fascinating. This has been a wonderful conversation. I'm so grateful that you were able to literally hop on after a 5-minute conversation so that we could create this. Is there anything you want to leave the listeners with?
Yeah. You know, getting your happy on, it's not all about laughter. And it's going to depend on you each moment and each day. And if you cannot make yourself wrong, is one of the greatest gifts. So, you know, there's moments like you're going to perceive sadness and just want to cry. Allow your body to cry. And also ask what's beyond this. Because a lot of times, you know, there's so much going on in the world and we're perceiving it. Our bodies are feeling it. You know that there's a lot of sadness going on in the world, but each of us gets to play a role in what we choose. And the minute you choose something different, the minute you're willing to add another level of something in your life, whether it's joy or anything else, it spreads. It literally exponentializes in the whole universe. So, you know, we each make a difference. And I think that's the one thing I'd like everyone to know is like, we're not just a number of one. You and the whole universe are together for each choice. So what else is possible if you didn't have to kind of think of it from what you know right now, but truly what else is possible?
I love that. Yeah, listeners, you matter and you do make a difference. So this was fantastic. Where can they find you, Laleh? If they're looking
A
for
couple
more?
of different places. So one of the businesses is called Global Wellness for All. And we have, you know, social media. We have a little bit of everything everywhere. And then lalehhancock.com will get you to another site that has other resources and tools and lots of articles. Also, I've written to help people, you know, empower them to be leaders, to have more money, to think more about their bodies, or, you know, just different tools to get us going each day.
I love it. Thank
Mhm.
you again for being my special guest today. This has been so much fun. So much
Thank you
fun.
so much. I'm so grateful for you. And thank you for doing this because the world needs more of this. You know, we need more joy and happiness in the world. And let me tell you, it's contagious. Spread it.
It is my absolute pleasure. It's really weird. I've been coined as the happy lady now. Oh my God, she's the happy lady. How are you
I
doing?
love
Oh,
it.
I mean, there could be a lot worse things to be called, right? The happy lady. I do laugh a lot. And I know that that comes across a little weird sometimes. People are like, you ever serious about anything? And I'm like, yeah, no. Because the thing is I don't really place significance on anything. You know, I can still be a grown up for consciousness and laugh my ass off. So there you go, right? So thank you, listeners. If you enjoyed this conversation, please hit the like button. If you know anyone that you sense could use a little happy, maybe share this with them. And we'll make sure to have all the links so you can find Laleh and Access Consciousness and myself below. So thanks again for joining us, and ciao for now. Mwah!